We're loading in an up-to-date database in today's video as we explore how you might go about rebuilding Chelsea. They've got issues. They've got post-Poch PSR problems, and they've also got Todd Boehly at the helm. It's a weird time to be a Chelsea fan. They were just coming into a bit of form, and now the manager has gone. They've got issues around this huge bloated squad. How can I try and change things, turn things around in just one season to see if we can finish higher than 6 and maybe qualify for the Champions League or maybe push even further? Let's explore that in today's video. Let's jump into it. So it appeared to me as an outsider looking in that Chelsea had started to turn things around under Pochettino towards the end of the season. Jackson had started scoring goals. They started to win games, and they'd found themselves finishing in 6, back in those European places, back in the Europa League, before United won the FA Cup to boot them back into the Conference League. And it seems insane to me. Now, Chelsea fans, let me know if this is the truth. It seems insane to me to have got rid of Pochettino, to have sacked him after what was... it was always going to be a difficult season. So many new faces coming in and such such unsolid ground to be building on. To then go and finish 6, I think this was something to build on. He's gone, though. Today, I'm going to go about it in a slightly more Football Manager fashion. This isn't a realistic rebuild, although we might go and make one of those videos a little bit later down the line where I really think about how the new manager will set up the team and make some realistic signings. Today, right now, we don't know who that manager is going to be. I'm going to chance my arm. I think it's going to be De Zerbi. Hello, future Clayts here, out on a dog walk with the pooch. Just wanted to jump in and say, obviously I recorded this video before the news broke about Enzo Maresca. Obviously it's going to be him that's going to be the next Chelsea manager rather than Roberto De Zerbi, as I said. I felt sure. I felt like I was going to be right, but obviously I was very, very wrong. We'll probably do a proper video all about Maresca as the Chelsea manager. We'll do a realistic rebuild and we'll do it that way. Today's video is more Football Manager focused anyway, where less realistic. So yeah, just wanted to jump in and say that really. Lenny, come on, mate. Right, we're going this way apparently. All right, see you in a bit. Today, though, I'm going to try and rebuild this team here, this squad, in just one season. I'm going to try and get rid of some of the deadwood because this squad, despite them having a lot of issues with having players injured last year, this squad is still massive. If I just right click on here, there are 33 people in this squad, which include some of those loan players, which are going to be coming back after the last season. Lukaku is still a Chelsea player, which is just a mad thing to say. So I'm going to try and shift on as many of these as I can and then build into a system that I think is going to look like this. A 4-2-3-1, which you could argue is in the image of a Kieran McKenna or potentially an Enzo Maresca, or even, I suppose, De Zerbi if you tweak a few things in here. I think this 4-2-3-1, which could easily change to a 3 at the back and then use wing backs if you maybe take the number 10 out of here, I think suits where the club is at, or where the squad is at right now. If I put some of those players in, 1 second. Here it is. This suits their best players. I think these ones that I've selected, there are 6 players that I've popped into the team here. I think these may be their 6 best players. I've left some of them out in there, and this may be the other areas that I might be trying to strengthen in today's video if I can raise the funds. We've got Colwill at left centre-back. I love him. I actually really want Liverpool to make a move for him this summer, especially with the situation at Chelsea. I know that they're keen on him. He would be my ideal to come in as the new left-sided centre-back at Liverpool. I don't think it's going to happen, but that is just my personal dream there. Reece James is their best defender, their best right-back for sure. If he can stay fit, it's such a problem, isn't it? Such a good footballer, but you're not a good footballer if you're not on the pitch. The best ability is availability, as the best always say. Caicedo and Enzo, they've got a double pivot for the ages, I still think, in here. Although there is maybe some arguments that you want someone a bit bigger, tougher in there. But I think these two are both great. And Kunku, again, if he can stay fit, what a player. You might see a little bit more of Cole Palmer in the middle here if he can't do that. But again, what a player if he is fit. And then Cole Palmer, what a season, what a signing he was last year. I mean, I could put Jackson in here because I actually personally quite like Nicholas Jackson. If he was a little bit more prolific in front of goal and a little less profligate, then you've got a real striker there. He is chaotic. He is Darwin Nunez energy, but when he works, he's very, very effective. I like him personally. And then you could maybe potentially pop Mykhailo Mudryk on this left-hand side here. Again, just so raw. I just think you need to see him kick on a little bit from here. But this squad has potential if you can get the players on the pitch and if you can maybe just add 1 or 2 more. I think maybe a left back. I'm not in love with either Cucurella or Chilwell here. With Thiago Silva leaving, who is their best right-hand side defender? Are you going to play? I don't think Trevor Chalobah's that guy. Badiashile, I think he prefers the left-hand side. Disasi,
sometimes is good, sometimes is less so. I mean, Wesley Fofana, I don't know when he's back from his injury, but he was a great player. But who knows what type of player he's going to be now after that such a long, bad injury. I mean, maybe let's put Fofana in there because that's probably the plan long term, I would argue, maybe. And then goalkeeper, I'm not a huge fan of Petrovic, so maybe somebody new is needed in nets there. That's kind of what I'm working with. I'm going to go and do some transfer business now. I'm going to go and see who I can shift, mainly from this list down here, to be honest. All of these guys that are, I mean, Sterling probably keep, Lavia probably keep. Some of them, obviously, I'm going to keep. Malagusto I quite like, especially with James's injury issues. I'm going to go and move on some players, though. Bring some players in. Then we'll have a look at how things are going to set up before the season starts. And then we're going to play that season. And I'll let you know how we go. Can we rebuild Chelsea to get them? Champions League qualification is my aim. And just to be altogether better. We've got one season to go and do that. Come on, let's do transfers. Oh, just remember to show you something as well, by the way. I have made the transfer budget really low. I made the wage budget way over budget just to try and reflect some of the PSR issues that I feel like Chelsea are going to encounter this summer. The general consensus seems to be that they're going to need to sell in order to buy. People like Conor Gallagher being linked with moves away again because they're homegrown and because the amount of money profit that you get off those players is so good. I think this is my best way of representing that in the game. So if I can raise the money, we will spend big, but we're starting from a position where we don't have a lot going on. This is going to be our transfer budget of 500k. Look, and also just to say before the transfers, please do subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 75,000 subscribers. That is 3/4 of the way to 100k, which would be a big dream of mine. So please do subscribe if you enjoy these type of things. And who do you want to see next? Do you want me to go and rebuild Everton, for example, with the issues that they've had and trying to make sure that they stay in the Premier League next season? Or is there another team that you're thinking would be interesting? Maybe we do these one season rebuilds before we get into those realistic ones where we really look at what I think is actually going to happen in the real world. Anyway, thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe. Let's do those transfers. Okay, here we are then. Day of the season starting. We have spent some money. The transfer budget is now looking at £10 million and we've got some available wage budget because I've shifted on a lot of people because this squad was huge and they had players like Lukaku on big wages who we just don't need. So I've moved people on. We're about to start the season and I'm just going to show you before we look at the transfers I've done. We are now predicted to finish 5th, which is one place above where we finished last year. And if we can do this, I'm not quite happy, but it puts us in touching distance of teams like Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City. If we can get into that top 4, I would be happy. And this is the squad that is hopefully going to do that. Transfer wise, we have spent £209 million. Not all of it up front is how we've managed to get around that. You might be thinking, how have you spent that much money if you had not that much money? Most of this is in installments. If I show you the installments page here, like with the clauses going out, lots of those players that I've brought in, I mean, a lot of them had clauses anyway from before, but players like Diamandi, look, it's been spread over 3 installments. Another player that we brought in was, just scrolling down, Tyrick Mitchell has been done over 3 installments, just so you can kind of understand how this has actually been done, because I'm sure there'll be people who are questioning that. And we have also raised a lot of money. Players that have been sold, starting with Romelu Lukaku. I've managed to sell him to the Saudi League. Al Ittihad have bought him for £58 million. Again, I'm going to just clarify, this is not a realistic rebuild. If it was, I'd make sure that I moved him on for what I think is going to be a realistic fee. I don't think they're going to get 60 million for him in this summer. I mean, they're definitely not going to get 60 million for him, are they? Lewis Hall, they will actually get this 28 million. That is part of the loan agreement. It becomes permanent this summer, so that's good money too. Already though, that's 90 million for us to go and spend, and especially if we spread it over many years, like Chelsea like to do. They do like to kick that can down the road with these massive contracts, and I'm sure they're doing these installment payments, aren't they? Ian Matson has gone to PSV, had a great season at Dortmund. We've sold him for rising to 25 million. Andre Santos for about 20 million. He was at Forest and not playing games, and then he went to play in Liga 1 for the second half of the season. Robert Sanchez, not sure why Arsenal have bought him for 15 million. I always get him and David Raya confused, or at least I used to. So maybe that's what's happened here, and they've just bought the other one to make sure that doesn't happen. And then a few younger players and a few loans out as well. These loans are significant because some of them, Ziyech as well, by the way, going on a free. Malang Sarr going on a free, and good wages being freed up. Some of these loans also free up some wages. Fofana was on okay wages. And just going back to before the tick over, we did have a couple of sales here too. Chalobah to Spurs for 25 million. Broha to Crystal Palace for 16. overall, we've raised, I mean, what is that now? It's over about £150 million in transfer fees alone. I mean, 41 plus 136. So it's, I mean, 180 odd million pounds to go and spend. And we did go and spend it, spreading it over a few years. Didn't bring anyone in before the tick over, but 4 players to make this team a challenger. That's what I'm thinking about. I think we can challenge with these players being brought in. Not realistic necessarily, although some of these I think Chelsea should be looking at. I talked about the positions that were missing on the pitch. Left back was one of them. I think Tyreek Mitchell has been sensational, especially second half of the season, especially under Glasner since he's come in and when Palace have become the best team in the league. I think Tyreek Mitchell is very, very unlucky not to be in that England team that is heading to the Euros this summer, especially with the Luke Shaw injuries and Ben Chilwell forgetting how to play football. I think Mitchell should be given a chance. I think he'd be a great signing on Football Manager as well, which is why I've brought him in for 33 million, which is a little bit pricey. Again, spread over a few years. He's going to come in and play ahead of Cucurella and play ahead of Ben Chilwell because I think he's better than both. Then I talked about Petrovic not being a very good goalkeeper. I think when he first came into the side, he looked all right, Petrovic, and he's had signs of being okay. He's had some really dodgy moments too. I think they can improve on him, and I really think they could go a lot worse than Jordan Pickford. I know it won't be popular with some people, you know, little arms and all that, but Jordan Pickford's a good goalkeeper. His record last season with clean sheets was phenomenal. Everton kept loads of clean sheets and defended really well, and they were really defensively solid. You need a good keeper to be able to go and do that. I know they didn't score any goals as well, by the way. But 55 million, it's a lot of money. But on FM, if you've got the money to spend and you can afford it, we can. Again, I spread it over many years. Look, it's 11 million 3 times. So that 33 million of the 55 is being spread over a number of years. So we can afford to do this, especially if we still are able to sell players in the future. Again, it's a 1-season rebuild. So we are, again, kicking that can down the road, aren't we? He's going to be our new goalie, and I think he's going to be a good goalie for us, Jordan Pickford. Very, very loyal to Everton, which is, it's almost admirable to say, isn't it? The way that he stayed. He could definitely go and play for a top half team in the Premier League, for me anyway. Usman Diomande next up to go and play centre-back. We needed that right-sided centre-back. The Thiago Silva replacement, I think he's going to be a big miss for Chelsea. Again, he's very old, and there were moments where he looked like he was very old last season for Chelsea, but such a big character in that dressing room. I think they're going to need to replace him. I wonder who's going to step up to that mark in terms of being that level of experience in their changing room, because we saw it last season with, they've got a lot of young players and there were those arguments on the pitch about taking a penalty and stuff. They need some leadership. Thiago Silva was that. I think they need more. They're going to need to replace him this summer. I've gone for Usman Diomande just because I think he's amazing in FM. He's got great jumping reach. Well, he's tall at 6'3". He's a wonder kid. Good jumping reach. Will score headers. He's just very good. I actually love playing him as a number 6, by the way. I don't think it's something that he would necessarily do in real life, but on FM, try it. Usman Diomande playing as a defensive midfielder will change your world. I promise you. 50 million for him. And then finally, I've gone big. I've continued the Brighton link. They are the feeder club for Chelsea, and then they go to Chelsea and they're not as good. I'm hoping that doesn't continue because I've spent up to 90 million on Evan Ferguson. He is going to be our clinical striker rather than Nicholas Jackson. He's going to slot in up front in a side that will look a little bit like this, give or take a few players. Pickford is the new goalie. James, Diomande, Colwill and Mitchell. I think that is a really good defence now. Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo as the midfield, the double pivot in there. Then we've got, I'm going to actually pop Madueke back out and put Nkunku in as the number 10. You may even want to swap Sterling potentially for Mudryk. I'm going to put Mudryk in, and then you've got this. If you just look at how many attacking players they can now rotate, Madueke can come in, Sterling can come in, Jackson can come in. That's before you even go down to some of the younger players. Oh, also, by the way, I have put future transfers in for Esteval, and then Kendry Paez is a real life one that's happened. Esteval heavily linked. He will join in the future, but we're not going to see him in today's rebuild. I think this side can go and challenge now. From what I know about FM and how effective certain players like big, tall, strong, fast strikers are, Evan Ferguson is going to score us goals. That midfield too is, I don't think you can get much better in the world of FM. Really good attacking talent, and now a really solid base at the back with a good goalkeeper. I think we've built a squad that can definitely qualify for the Champions League. That is the aim. So let's go to January and find out how the first half of this season is going to go. Come on. Okay, so we're heading in to January with this Chelsea team now, and it's so good. We are so good. We are now 20 games into the season. We've actually just lost our first game, which is why I've stopped now. I was going to go further into January, but we've just lost our first game of the season so far. 20 played, 12 wins, 7 draws. Maybe need to cut a few more of those draws out, but actually some of them against the really good teams of the league. Manchester United at home, maybe should be beating them. City away, managed to get a draw though, and then Liverpool at home drew to those. We just lost to Liverpool, who have just gone top. We lost at Anfield 1-0. They've lost 1 in the last 5. We lost 1 all season. It's them and City are the real competitors for us so far this year. But this side is functioning really nicely. I want to show you, let's choose a game here. Let's go to this Brighton game just as an example to show you how we've been setting up some of maybe some of the changes from the original plan. But people like Badiashile has been playing a lot more than I would expect him to. Colwill maybe, I mean in FM I'm not sure Colwill's been represented as good as I think he is in real life. Maybe I'm just over-egging it slightly because I like him. Badiashile, Fofana being back has been a huge boost. I don't really know his fitness situation. Is he going to be back for next year? Because if he is, that would be a big boost for them. James has managed to play a lot of football, which is going to be again a real positive for them if that happens. Caicedo, Enzo in this midfield. Sterling's played a lot of football, and Nkunku playing on the left hand side. Really flexible with this front four really, and then Evan Ferguson is scoring goals. If we watch the goals in this game, just to give you a flavour of how things are going, I think we're in a title race. We're in a title race going into the second half of this season. I'm going to think about what we might do transfer wise to see if we could push the needle that little bit more and go for things. I'm not quite sure. We haven't got a lot of money left. And Nkunku scoring worldies like that. Look, straight in past Bart Verbruggen into that top corner. That was 1-0. Then second half, Cole Palmer still scores penalties. He's actually scored loads. I think he's scored a couple of hat-tricks, which I love the fact that that's managed to be represented in the game because it was so out of the blue for Chelsea this year. Maybe not out of the blue, but he's definitely exceeded expectations, hasn't he? And then in FM, we've managed to make that a thing as well, which is really cool to see. Evan Ferguson scored the second in this game. Conor Gallagher, still at the club. I didn't sell him, although I wonder if they will move him on in the summer. I think the new manager's going to have, or will he have a say on that is maybe a question. Mudryk made it 3, and then, in fact, that was the 4th. Mudryk made it 4 after it was the Cole Palmer penalty was 2, wasn't it? Good win. I think that kind of sums up how good we are. Let me show you the stats of how we're going at this halfway point with this team that's currently in there, which is Madueke playing games. If you look at Jordan Pickford's played 25, he's played every game. 8 assists from Reece James. He's played every game so far. 26 appearances. That's 20 in the league. I mean, that would be a game changer for Chelsea, wouldn't it? But the main thing we need to talk about, you can see some of the appearances here. The main thing we need to talk about is Cole Palmer is just another level. He scored 27 in 29 from this number 10 spot. I've just been playing him there, and it's been maybe more Nkunku swapping around to the other positions, but he's got 15 in 21. 27 goals in 29 games, 12 assists. This is his profile. He is so good. If you have the chance to sign him in FM, go and sign Cole Palmer because he's better than even maybe I would expect him to be. He's only just made his England debut, look, on the in November against Greece. Should definitely be in that England team. He's definitely going to go to the Euros, I think, as well as Cole Palmer. Not sure if he's going to be a starter though. That remains to be seen. We're functioning quite nicely as a club at the moment. 11 and 16 for Evan Ferguson is pretty good. He is sharing it slightly with Nicholas Jackson, who's got 7 starts and scored 2. Sterling started 23, look, on the bench down here. And then these are the guys that aren't really being used. Axel Disasi not getting anywhere near the team. And then our boy Leslie not anywhere near the team either. I'm going to continue now. Oh, also, a couple of extra things to show you. I haven't signed anybody else, but I did let a couple of other people leave the club. Mark Cucurella being one of them. He's gone on loan to Real Madrid, and they're going to pay his wages, which are over 100,000 a week, so we do need that money. We've got 10 million to spend with a bit of wage budget. If we could sell a player, we might be able to bring some players in, but I'll let you know if I do choose to do that, because now we're going to go to the end of the season, and we're going to go and see if we can go and win this league. It's a long shot with 3 points off the top, but we've got the top score in the league, the top average rating in the league. We've got 1 off the top assists in the league. We've got the most player of the matches, look, over here. We're in a title race. Can we do this in this one season shot at a rebuild? I'll see you in May. Come on. And here is how that second half of the season has gone. We have built a really good team here. I actually decided against signing anybody else. I was really looking at what options were out there, and I felt like we've spent a lot of money, and a lot of that money is going to be coming out of the accounts in the future. So I've not decided to bring anybody else in, and this is how things have gone. Since that loss to Liverpool, which is our first of the season in the league, we then drew to Arsenal, not disappointing really on New Year's Day, look, and then went on a decent run. We lost in the EFL, this is the League Cup semi-final first leg, and then lost to Liverpool in the semi-final here. So a semi-final run in the League Cup. We beat West Ham, then we lost to Manchester City 4-2. So some points dropped in the new year, you have to say, but then look what happened after that. We were in the Europa League. This is an up-to-date database, but Manchester United didn't win the cup in this one. So we were in the Europa League rather than the Conference League. It's just one of those things. So imagine this is the Conference League because, I mean, I'm sure Chelsea could go on a run in either of those competitions anyway, couldn't they? FA Cup we were still going through. And then if you just look at how unbeaten we are, we were very much unbeaten. Drawing to Manchester United, we didn't beat them in either of the games this year, which is maybe a little bit worrying. We drew to Brentford, but then 4 wins in a row, including going through in the FA Cup again, going through in the Europa League, going through in the FA Cup after that, a 5-3 win against Everton. All of this leading up to a really good spell between, well, all of March, all of April, pretty much winning every single game, especially if you count this Europa League quarter-final win over 2 legs over Newcastle. 6-0 win against Newcastle in the league. Ferguson with 2, Sterling with 2, and Kunku, and then Jackson with 1 in there. There's another 2 goals for Cole Palmer, especially from those penalties. He does take a lot of penalties, does Cole Palmer. There's another one that you can see there, look. Then 5-0, 2-1, straight through into the final of the Europa League where we won it in extra time. We dominated, by the way. It was Nice that we played in the final. There's that Nice team, look, with Kefren Turam in the midfield. Beating them 3-2 after being 1-0 up, and then it was Kefren Turam who equalised. Then, in extra time, a penalty from Cole Palmer, and then Moises Caicedo with the icing on the cake with the final goal. Let's watch that goal, because why not? We like to see some gameplay, don't we? To win us the Europa League, let's just transfer this out. Let's swap it and pretend that this is the Conference League. Chelsea, can they go and win that next season? Of course they can. They're going to be up against, I think there's the lowest rated team is like an Icelandic part-time team that's in that competition. Of course they can go and win it. There's Caicedo with the goal that at this point they knew they were going to be the Europa League winners. And then they even back this up by beating Arsenal in the FA Cup. So we've won silverware, the FA Cup and the Europa League. Have we, though, won the league? I'm sure you maybe know the answer because you've seen it on the screen before this. This was the 3-1 win over Arsenal. Again, dominating them with this 4-2-3-1 system that Akira McKenna might come in and use. Or an Enzo Maresca might come in and use, depending on who they do go for as their new manager. I could see it, you know. This, though, is what it all comes down to. Did we win the Premier League after losing our final game on the last day to Crystal Palace away from home? Because they are the best team in the world. Did we win the league? No, we didn't. We lost it by a point. We bottled it. We absolutely bottled it. Liverpool beat Arsenal away from home on the last day. We lost to Palace. We got dominated by Palace, really. I mean, we didn't create loads. It was a domination. Elise and Broha, our former player Broha, with the goal. This was the team that played. We had injuries. We had issues because we played a lot of games. We had finals coming up. I thought we were able to win it. We weren't. We lost 2-0 and Liverpool have won the league. Deeply disappointing, but overall, I think 2 trophies in the bag, 2nd place back in the Champions League for next year. This would be a brilliant rebuild for Chelsea fans. They'd probably go and sack me at this stage because they didn't win the league, wouldn't they? Knowing Todd Bowley. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed this rebuild. I'll show you the stats before we do finish things off here. This was pretty much the best 11, as you can see it. You can see some of the stats on here. 44 goals for Cole Palmer, 29 for Nkunku, 30 for Evan Ferguson. We scored loads, conceded not that many really. 29 assists, look, from Cole Palmer. What a player. We'll leave it on this. Cole Palmer is outrageously good. That can be the comment if you've got this far, by the way. Cold Palmer. That's it. That's the comment, isn't it? If you've watched it to the end, let me know by leaving me a comment that says Cold Palmer. But thank you for watching. Again, let me know which team you want to go and see me do this again. They're fun little videos to make. Just one season shots at things. Really thinking about how you can exploit the meta a little bit in terms of which signings to play, plug the gaps of the squad. It's a fun little process. So let me know what you want to see next. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. See you later.